Welcome back to Talk Breasty to Me featuring the Shitty Titty Talk. I have Pilar and Cindy here as my special guests. So I want to introduce you guys. First, we have Cindy, and then we have Pilar right here. So this is actually one of my first times hanging out with Pilar. So I'm actually getting to know her as well as you guys too. And Cindy's my good friend. We've been friends for about a year and a half now. She was one of my mentors when I was diagnosed. I was actually on a Facebook page and she messaged me and was like, call me right now. So she was the first person that really like guided me. And how long ago did you have breast cancer?
I was diagnosed in July 2000, 24 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
That's a long time ago.
Okay.
So a lot of the protocols that they have now are even better than what we had back then.
Awesome. Awesome. And then Pilar, when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in December around the holidays, 2017, and then I started chemo in January 2018. So yeah, it was triple negative.
Pilar's our first triple negative survivor on the podcast. So I'm super excited because, like, I'm hormone positive and most of my friends are also hormone positive. So I do have a couple of friends who are also triple negative, but kind of getting to know you a little bit more and understanding the process that you went through is going to be super fun. So that's what I want to get into first. So I want to let's talk to Pilar a little bit first. So tell us a little bit about, how you found out you had cancer and the process that you went through.
All right. So one of the things that I would recommend is doing that self check every month, the breast check, but also checking underneath the arm. That's so important. I was feeling weird. It was like a September, October 2017. And so I was in the shower and I was doing my breast check. And that's when I discovered the lump. I discovered it on my own. That was scary. It felt like a rock inside, deep inside. And I had implants at the time. So I was like, is this the implant? Is this, you're kind of in shock when you find something and you can't believe what you found, what you find. So I was like, okay. And I kept feeling it and feeling it. So I said, let me make an appointment with my doctor. I remember telling my husband, I go, I found something weird. I don't know. I get this bad feeling about it. He's always so optimistic. He's like my biggest strength. He's like, it's nothing, Pilar. It's fine. He's always like trying to calm me down. He's like, but if you feel it's something, it's good that you're getting it checked.
And you had the implants too, right, Pilar? How long did you have the implants in?
I had the implants for about, at that time, like 8-9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I was 47 at the time when I discovered the lump.
Where was the lump like?
The lump was, if we're gonna, I'll just show you. The lump was underneath here and underneath my breast on my left breast. And then, but what I didn't realize is I also had two. It was the mother lump and it created two babies.
Wow.
And then when they did a full scan, which was very scary, they found other cysts in my body. And I was like, oh my God, is this cancer attacking me? It was very, very scary.
You're lucky that you felt it because you had the implant. So it was situated probably like underneath the implant on the side where you can feel it.
It totally was. And one of the things one of my doctors said, it was maybe, I know some people are very negative about implants, but I think actually it was very helpful for me because it was kind of blocking the tumor from my muscle, kind of protecting my muscle. So I think it would have been worse.
It's amazing, right? Wow. Yeah, wow.
I know. And I know that there was something about implants. It was like a certain brand that women
Yes, it was Allergan. It was the Allergan that had a recall on them.
And I didn't have those. So I was fine. I didn't have the ones that had the recall. That was very scary. And so my life, it was around the holidays. I was a mom of two at the time, a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. It was very, very scary. I think for me, the hardest thing through the whole process was telling my little girls, that was hard. So before I told them on a Sunday afternoon, and before I told them, I made sure I had everything. Like, this is what mommy has. This is the stage that I'm in, and this is what they're telling me that I need to do. And telling them that afternoon, I get like choked up thinking, telling them that afternoon, I remember I had to convince them mommy's going to be fine. Because when you think of cancer, and you think of cancer like 20, 30 years ago, right, Cindy?
Yeah.
The survival
Exactly.
rate was not there.
Right.
So now the survival rate is there, and there's so many positive stories. I mean, look at you, Cindy. You're 24 years.
Thank God.
I want to be like you. I want to. I'm 6 years now, cancer free, but I want to be like you.
You will
24
be.
years.
You
See
will
my
be.
grandchildren. I know that
Yeah.
sounds corny or something. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I embrace it. I want to be there, and maybe we can also talk about some of the wonderful things that you do to take care of yourself too.
Yeah, of course. Before we get into, Cindy, we have so much to talk about with Cindy too, because you got a lot going on.
I got too much going
I
on.
I wanted to talk a little bit about so your diagnosis. So, your staging, your treatment plan, all that fun stuff.
Okay. Yes, I will go through that. So what I did is the staging was we had to typically people will have a surgery first, then they do the chemo. But because where the tumor was, my doctor called me and she's like, "We're gonna have to do an about face and change the plan." I remember that freaked me out because I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die!" Because you get so scared. Every little thing you get scared, but it wasn't. It
You
actually
still
turned out.
stay scared.
Yeah,
24
I'm still
years
scared.
later, yeah.
Yes. And I remember having to do an about face, so we changed the plan. So the plan was we put in the port. I did 5 months of chemo. Then after that, I did a reconstruction. I did a double mastectomy with the expanders. Then I did a radiation. And then after the radiation, I did reconstruction again. I would say the whole process was a year of my life, really 2 years of my life going through it. And then we were talking about the infection that I had, and we can talk about that another time, but it was rough. The chemo, I had something, it was called it was something called the red devil. So it was like 2 months of the red devil and then weekly treatments of another type of chemo. And but it cleaned out everything. It left me very weak, but it just removed all the cancer. And then after that, I was able to do the double mastectomy. And I remember in the beginning, they told me all I needed to do was just remove my left breast. But the 5 months in the end turned out to be a blessing because it just came on so aggressively that I was talking to other cancer survivors. And thank goodness for Link of Hope.
Link of Hope Sisters.
Yes, Link of Hope Sisters.
Yes.
Thank
Founder,
God for
founder,
them.
founder.
And the group and AmericanCancer.org, they connected me with someone that had a case that was very similar to me. I was talking to her on the phone and she guided me. And then Pat was amazing. And all the women on the Link of Hope Sisters, they were amazing too. So they really guided me on what to do. So I decided, because sometimes it comes back, cancer looks for another place to come back. I decided to be aggressive as well and remove the other breast. So it was like we removed everything, no nipple sparing, no nothing. And then I put the expanders, and then we did, the final. We redid everything, and so it was just for me. It was hard, when you look in the mirror. It was hard in the beginning, but then again, what is the price? Is I'm alive.
And a positive note, correct? Yes.
Yes, I'm alive, and
You made it.
and I
you
made
did
it. And I'm living cancer free. Example for my girls, and I hope I'm an example for young people.
You guys are hope for me too. Like, this is why I do what I do, because you know what? When I first was diagnosed, I didn't really have a community. I didn't have any family members that really had cancer. Like, no one friend who had cancer. So I turned to the ladies of the Link of Hope Sisters and 305 Pink Pack. And now that when newly diagnosed people are looking for someone to go to, like, I want to make sure that I'm there too, and I can give them similar stories, and show them videos. Hey,
there is
Pilar
hope.
had triple negative, 7 years ago. Cindy had hormone positive 24 years ago. So I want to be able to have a lot of people to kind of re-mentor and guide them in the right direction too. So that's why thanks for coming to like help the other people too. So
Of course. You know, I
And you're
think
doing a great job too,
you
actually.
are.
Yeah.
You are. I think also being, I know some people are afraid to speak out and share their story, but I think I find strength in that, right, Cindy? Like
Yeah.
sharing and talking about our experiences,
Hmm.
reaching out and helping others. I think that's a gift because people reached out to me and people helped me. So, however, I can give back and pay it forward, that means so much. And set an example. You know, I just, my heart goes out. I was in my 40s, I was 47. My heart goes out to young women that have it. And sometimes it's more aggressive than my situation. Mine was, but I know that you were. How old were you when you found yours? And
33.
wow,
Just a baby.
just a
Yeah.
baby. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with getting diagnosed. I'm not saying it's different than
No, right.
older, but when we're pre-menopause, it's a little bit different because they have to be more aggressive to shut down your ovaries and shut down any hormones coming in and out of your body. That's why I eat like super strict. I don't drink alcohol because a lot of foods and drinks can increase your estrogen. And I know a lot of people. I know a couple times you're like, oh, just eat it, but like I just feel like I want to do whatever I can to like really prevent a reoccurrence. But because my hormones are so high, it's like any kind of thing, drink or food that I eat that spikes it, I can get the reoccurrence. And the only reason why I know that is because of the onco score type. The doctors were stunned. The nurses, my nurse navigator was like, we were not expecting that. Like they were like, they almost thought I didn't need chemo. They were like, oh, like, my doctor, my oncologist was like, oh, from my own research and like just your situation, your tumor size, he's like, yeah, you might not need chemo. But once that number came back, they didn't realize how aggressive my tumor really was. So that's why we did chemo. It was my choice to do chemo. Also my choice to do the bilateral mastectomy. I could have just had the one removed, because it did not spread anywhere else. But I wanted to be super aggressive because what happens if
right?
a lingering
Right.
cancer cell that you don't see comes back
Microscopic, very
microscopic, yeah. So, and then once we did the bilateral mastectomy, everything was tested, the tissue was tested, and they found nothing else. So even though they found nothing, it's still a peace of mind. I got a nice new rack. Yeah.
It's symmetry. I know that sounds crazy, but I felt the same way as you. And you wanted, I took an aggressive approach, and I was told the same thing. They're like, oh, you don't really need to remove the other breast. And the doctor made it very clear it was my decision to do so. But I made that decision because I'm like, you're already removing one. You might as well take the other one.
And
It's even them
on,
out. Peace of
on
mind.
that note too, there are some physicians that feel that that you should just have one. And I feel it's our body if we want to take it off because we have that fear or increased risk of getting it in the other breast. If we want to take it off, take it off.
Mhm.
I feel that real strongly because I had one of my patients say that, oh, he won't take the other one off. Well, then find a different doctor.
That just happened.
I did that.
I had a girl reach out to me from Palm Beach. I'm not going to say names, obviously. And she was like, I saw your Instagram or TikTok, whatever, and I need some advice. I'm like, what's up? And she's like, I saw that you had a bilateral mastectomy. I was like, yeah. She's like, that was your choice. I said, yes. And she's like, my doctor won't do it. My doctor was like, oh, you don't need that. And also good luck finding a plastic surgeon that will your insurance will take. I sent her down to my doctor's. She texted me the other day, thank you so much. We're doing the bilateral next week. Like they were quick with it. She was also 30 years old, just had a baby. So hers was a little aggressive too. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I don't know why doctors won't do it. It's not their choice. Like,
And I'm going to tell you something. Nowadays, it's brand, like they had just started doing it when my doctor in Cleveland Clinic, when she removed my breast, my plastic surgeon was in there. Then he took over and then he put the expanders in. So when you wake up, you have something. It was a little small and then he would keep filling it up, but at least I woke up and I had something. But it was also peace of mind. We were just talking about this and it was my choice. I pushed and I got a second opinion because my doctor, she was a female doctor and she was hesitant to remove the other one. But then I went and I got a second opinion and she's like, if that's what you feel, then she should honor that. And it was another female physician and she was at MCI and she was great. And she's like, if that's how you feel, then you need to talk to your doctor at the Cleveland Clinic. And I did. And she goes, I respect that. And we're going to remove both. And then we're going to have your expanders are going to be done. Your reconstructive expanders are going to be put in at the same time. It was a 6-hour surgery. But when I woke up, I had something. They were removed and I was cancer free. And that was the best gift the day after my birthday. That was the best gift that I had. And I was able to tell my daughters that mommy's cancer free. So that was great.
I love it. Oh, you can keep that.
Okay.
With your situation, did you go flat right away?
Yes, actually, I was flat for 5 years. I did not do anything for 5 years because I was so afraid that it was going to come back somewhere. And what happened to me was I decided to, after the 5 year, I went and saw a doctor and he put the implant in that I chose for my size. And he was amazed that I waited the 5 years. And I was fine with it, and my husband was fine with it at the time too. I was diagnosed at 47. I was 47, same year, same. I was diagnosed in a week after my 47th birthday because my birthday is July 6th, July 13th, I was diagnosed. And my aunt was also diagnosed at 47 also.
Wow.
So that number in our family, but except my mom got it at 87. Who gets it at 87, right? But this is a long story for mine because I'm a DES baby, and some viewers may not know what DES is. DES is a drug used back in the 50s to prevent miscarriage. And what it did was it saved my life. My mom was able to carry me full term and deliver me. But now they find that there's other things that were caused by the DES, like colon cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer. But good today, bad tomorrow, good today. So that's why in the medicine, though, they're progressing so much compared to when I had it in July of 2000 to now. I mean, the therapies are amazing. The clinical trials, that's another thing. I am so for clinical trials. I really am. I really believe clinical trials and studies help, and they help you discover new treatment plans. That's what that's
Absolutely.
for. And, some people don't like them, but I'm 110% for clinical trials.
Yes.
Me
And
too, me too.
one thing to, when people going through chemotherapy, because a lot of people decide not to, for me, and I kind of take on the stance that Pat had talked to me in the group. Every time I would get it, I would tell myself that it was healing. It was sacred juice. That's what she would call it. Patricia San Pedro. It's amazing. Shout out to you, Patricia.
Shout out, Patricia.
Yes, and I remember. So when it was going into my body, I would tell myself, "It's mind over matter," and you tell yourself, "This is going to heal me. This is going to remove all the bad, kick it out of my system. I'm going to be cancer free. I'm going to get through this." And what people don't realize, this is not chemo from 20, 30 years ago. It's chemo when you get there, they weigh you, they measure you, they take your blood levels, and then the pharmacy is there in the same building preparing your chemo for you, crafting it just for you. So when the chemo is going into the system, it is custom made for you. That's what a lot of people do not realize. It's not chemo, that it's a basic chemo for everyone. There's different types. Not all cancers were created equally. And so I always tell that to people. Everyone's plan is different. No one has it worse than anyone, because a poor friend of mine, someone um, kind of got onto her online and said that my daughter died and you're alive and your cancer wasn't as bad, like kind of saying, why are you alive? And I'm like, oh my god, how can you say that to any woman, anyone that's had cancer? Like, just have compassion. It's not easy when someone tells you those words, you have cancer, your life flashes in front of you. And I had my husband there that day. He was supposed to write notes. Do you think he took any notes? Not at all. Someone asked me that the other day, and I go, no, I love you, babe. Sorry.
Don't forget, men too are having to go through this with you.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes marriages and relationships break
Don't
up because
last.
of it. And that was another thing that I had written in one of my books, that is really important, and that's relationships. What it can do. It can either break you or make you.
Yeah.
And it's really important because when you love somebody, I love my husband. And if anything, God forbid, I mean, I'm there. You're not going to, same thing like even with a pet, pet gets sick, people just turn them into shelters. I don't even know how they do that.
I can't.
But it's really, and the support group, your friends are really important too.
Yes.
But like you were saying, that's really sad that he came back and said that, my daughter died and you didn't,
Yeah, it was another mom, and she attacked her. And then when my friend told me this, I was like, "What?" I was very shocked, because I think we need to, no matter what, as a caregiver or the person going through the going through the cancer, whether they survive or they don't make it, you have to be supportive. You have to be a supportive community. And, it's just everyone's cancer is different. It's a different stage, but it doesn't mean that they're not going through a hard time. We don't know what they're going through,
Mm.
and my poor friend went through a divorce. So, um, she went through a lot that year. It was a rough year. We all have our years.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
Yes, and I always tell people, you got to be supportive. We got to help each other on the community. No cancer was created equally. Everyone has a different situation. I was very fortunate that Tony was my rock. It made me love him more. You
Yeah, it
stick. You
does.
sorry,
It
but
brings you,
like,
yeah, like I said, it either brings you close together or tears you
or tears
apart. But
apart.
support groups are really important
Yes, they
too.
are.
And a shout out to 305 Pink Pack,
Yes,
a shout out to Bosom Buddies at Baptist Hospital.
yes.
Founder is Linda Burrows. That's another fantastic group. There's so
Pink
many.
Luminous as
Pink
well is
Pink
doing
Luminous
something.
Advocacy Project. That's
Yes.
another project, that was founded by Marilyn Dans, and she had created a device that detects early breast abnormalities. To find out more information, Pink Luminous Advocacy Project, you can find that on Instagram, and it tells you a lot of information. They actually have Light Up the Night coming up October 11th. You can find out information there and get your ticket to join us. Um,
And 305 Pink Pack is going to have the pack. It's going to be on Sunday, September 17th. And it's going to be in Miami. So details are also on their website. I believe it's 305pinkpack.org.
they're also on Instagram.
They're also
Yeah.
on Instagram as well. And so get your tickets for that. It's affordable, it's a family friendly event. So
Oh, that's going to be fun.
it's going
Yeah,
to
we're
be
going to,
so much
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, is there anything else that that we can help out and we can share with our experience? I know that we were talking about nutrition, right? And you were talking about alcohol. We've been talking about cholesterol, because my cholesterol is a little high now, but also glucose levels can go up as well.
Mhm.
I remember for me, since I was triple negative, I wasn't restricted as much. So going in, I used to, the only thing that I could tolerate was green tea. And I remember a nurse coming by and she was like, "Oh, did you ask your nutritionist about the green tea?" And I was like, "Well, she didn't tell me there was any problem with it, but I knew for me being triple negative, there was no issue with the green tea. But I know with certain other cancers, the green tea can elevate certain hormones. I depends on which strain you have. Did you hear anything about that? Because for me, green tea helped. I know my colleague was drinking a lot of matcha.
I sure hope not, because I drink matcha tea every single day of my life. Literally, I just drank it before I got here.
Yeah.
I have a integrative oncologist at MCI, and they told me that matcha is fine.
Yeah,
It's
matcha's
actually really
fine.
Yeah,
good for you.
matcha
Yeah.
is really fine. Matcha is really good for you, whether you had cancer or not. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really good tea. There's a lot of things. For me, I stopped drinking alcohol for 2 years now, but for gastritis, because I have gastritis.
Right.
But I don't even miss it. I really don't. I just celebrated my birthday. I didn't have a drink. I had some juice. But everybody's different. I was always thin in nature, always, even as a kid. So I really, thank God, never had a weight problem. But there's a lot of people that are afraid to eat. That's why a nutritionist, or speaking to your integrative oncologist, or someone who's knowledgeable, there are so many foods that are delicious that you still can eat. So it's not like, oh my God, I can't have that. So it's something important that you need to, it's on an individual
And I do
basis.
want to say, I was very fortunate when I had the cancer, because everything goes over you. But then I remember they gave me someone that was assigned to me, a nurse navigator, and she was in charge of my case. And so she gave me a whole plan. And one of the wonderful things at least at the Cleveland Clinic, and I believe MCI has this in
MCI is amazing. Actually,
MCI is
I'm
amazing. They have the
collaborating now for
similar
my
thing.
4th book.
Yes, they're great. They have a similar thing. So I was given a nutritionist. It was paid for. It was provided. I was given yoga classes. I was given massages, and that really helped me through the whole thing. It was great having a nutritionist because what people don't realize, this is pre-COVID. I had to really be very careful. The one thing is they made sure that I was getting enough protein, iron. That's very, very important. Some people like to do shakes, and that sometimes doesn't give you enough nutrients. And that was something mentioned in one of your books, with Serena. She was talking about that. You have to be careful with some of the shakes. Also, if you do get a shake, you have to make it yourself. Any smoothies, because you should have cooked vegetables, because anyone preparing, if God forbid you go to any place and they are sick and they're preparing your fruit shake or your vegetable shake, and it's not cooked, the germs are in there, then you get it, because your immune system is so low when you're going through treatment. And so I'm an advocate of that. I have a family member going through this. And so that's something I remind this person about, just being very careful. Even when I would go to Publix, I was also, at the time, my system was so low, I was wearing a mask. This is pre-COVID. I was wearing a mask to take care of myself, because sometimes people will go to a store, they're sneezing, they're touching things. And so I got into that habit, and really taking care of yourself, and making sure when family members come over, I know that they want to be supportive, or even friends. It's kind of like having a newborn in the house.
Yeah.
They need to be mindful that your system is very, very low. So if they're sick in any way, shape, or form, they really should
Don't
not be
come.
coming
Don't
over your
come.
house
We love
to
you,
see
but
you. We love you, but don't. Your system is very, very low. And that's something I did want to talk about today, because it's been coming up now with my family member that's going through this. And so I've had to remind people, even to visit me, because I have to go visit this person, and I need to be healthy so I can help this person out. So again, those are things that you have to think about. And it was very rough with my daughters going to school, them coming home, and my system being very, very low. There were times it was sad. I would be in my room, and I had to, if one of them was sick, we had to really kind of quarantine in
talk
the
on your
house.
cell phone.
Yeah, I was like, you can't
Text.
come in. I give me an air hug,
Yeah.
a kiss from afar. But you have to do it, because you have to continue that treatment. You cannot stop. You can't have anything delaying your treatment, because you need to kick out that cancer out of your system, and you need to get strong.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I ended up in the hospital a few times during chemo, but I don't think I got sicknesses from other people. It was more of like
was more yourself,
my
your body.
own self.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was very careful, and I actually posted a video of me talking about how to wash your vegetables and not to eat so sushi.
I saw that. That was great.
Yeah, and there's controversy. People are like writing back to me saying like, that's not true. I ate sushi my entire chemo. I ate raw vegetables. I went to dinner all the time. So I was like, listen, what works for you might not work for you. What works for me might. So every time I post videos, when I give advice, I'm like, hey, this might work for you, but it didn't work for me. I made a video yesterday or 2 days ago about chemo, the things I did. I ate grass-fed red meat 3 days before chemo every single day.
Yes.
And everybody came back and like, how do you know that works? Well, I had only had side effects for 24 hours of chemo. So what's the deciding factor? The red meat, maybe, So
everybody's different.
It's funny that you should mention it. I did the same thing. I was having very grass-fed meat. I was having organic vegetables. There's also something called the Dirty Dozen, what people don't realize. Berries are very, very good for you. They're excellent, but you need to really wash the berries.
Oh my God. You know what I found out? Oh, not to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
The strawberries. Oh my God. I haven't had a strawberry since.
Don't tell us. I know what you're about to say, but I like strawberries.
No, there were worms in the strawberries. So what I did now, I mean, I lied. I had strawberries, but I got the distilled vinegar. and water.
Mhm.
And I put the berries in there. I let them soak for like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yep.
And my husband laughed because I was looking for the worms. He didn't care. He would have ate it right there. So, but there was nothing, but it did turn color. So, and I cleaned it and then I rinsed it with water because you don't get a vinegar taste in spite of what some people might tell you. If you rinse it good, and then it was fine. But that freaked me out. I have to
Yeah.
tell you, that was I love strawberries. So now I can't even eat chocolate covered strawberries out unless I make them myself.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I mean, you guys can disagree, but I think organic vegetables and organic fruits, no matter what, are always going to be better than the regular
Do
ones.
they have worms though? Do you think?
Listen, at this point, worms probably have protein. I'm thinking more of like pesticides.
Chemicals,
I'm
yeah.
So
thinking chemicals too. I'm like you. Yes.
yeah,
So you don't mind eating a worm then?
I'd rather.
You know what I think?
I'm
maybe
sorry.
Time it hits your belly. The
Oh my
acid will
God.
help kill that little worm.
Yeah.
And maybe it's good for the lining of your stomach. We don't know what that worm
Oh
does.
my
We've
God.
been eating it for years.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I'm freaking out.
No,
It's
no,
like
it's
really
okay.
freaking me out.
Yeah, no. I think for me, so this is the rule I have for myself. So for me, I know that berries have the least amount of sugar. So I get organic blueberries, organic strawberries, organic raspberries, and blackberries. I eat those religiously. And from what I've done, a lot of research I've done, the regular berries, they have pesticides in them. But even if you clean them with your distilled, it doesn't
vinegar.
matter. The skin and everything already absorbed it.
Oh,
So
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank
And then
you.
my other rule of thumb, which I kind of like do this, if a fruit is like on the inside or a vegetable, like an avocado or a kiwi or a banana, I don't always get them organic because they have like that protective shell. I try to, but if it's like $100
And cucumbers, because I love cucumbers.
Yeah,
That's
as long
another
as you
thing
wash
because
organic,
because I like the skin on the organic cucumbers, and I wash it really, really good, and then I cut them up because I
Yeah.
really love cucumbers. It's good
Yeah.
for inflammation.
Oh
you know.
yeah, I actually I was before chemo I would do cucumber, celery, like avocado and ginger or something.
Yummy.
And I had side effects to chemo, but my doctor was confused because all I got was a 24-hour flu, high fever, chills, body aches, and for 24 hours, every single chemo, 24 hours, and then I was good for the rest of the week.
Oh wow.
So that's what I did. I did the shakes. I did the red meat.
Beets are also very good.
I hate beets. I hate beets.
The red beets are
God
great.
bless my
You don't like?
stepsister. She was also very amazing, and she would bring me, and she would make sure she would bring me a beet shake, and the day after chemo, and that would really help me because beets are very good for your iron. They give you energy. It was excellent, and it was
It's good
so
for inflammation too.
for
I think.
inflammation.
Yeah.
And I remembered I would drink that smoothie, and people were like, ew, how could you? And for me, it was just refreshing, and it really would help me. I was drinking coconut water too. That was helping me too. And I would make myself, I would do, that's when I really learned the difference between organic, and my nutritionist helped me with that too. Cause she was like, I know berries definitely, she would tell me the berries, get them organic, and you still need to clean them because your immune system, I was like no sushi. She told me that as well. She and I were she said I could have the stevia, but she said the other non-sweeteners you have to be very careful about. So she was okay with the stevia, but I know with the other non-sweeteners. And for me, I'm very careful about sugar. Just regular sugar, I try to cut back on the sugars because I really feel that there's a correlation with sugar in
Does
our
that go
system.
for brown sugar too?
Brown sugar is good, but
Brown
sugar is sugar.
I don't use any sugar. I don't zero sugar. I mean, if it's in my berry, like in my fruits, I only eat natural occurring sugar. So like when I have like my pancakes or something, I use like honey, like organic raw honey.
Raw honey, because there's a lot. That's something.
Yes.
There's a lot of honey that has sugar in it. So I really look. That's another thing. After everything, I really look at labels now. And we are like constantly talking. We were talking about like candles today. We were talking about
soy
I
candles.
have
Yeah.
earplugs in my house. Cindy today came up.
Yes.
Pilar, they were saying the earplugs are not very good. There's something in there for the lungs, for the breathing. So there's a lot of things we help each other out. And I'm really trying to do as much as I can Even with the alcohol that I drink, like I drink Prosecco, I try to reduce the sugars. There's also wonderful, fabulous mocktails that you could have too. There's even wines that are organic that you can have.
Yes, the organic wines.
The thing is, like, how I see it too is that you still also have to be careful, even if it's naturally occurring sugar. Sugar is sugar, right?
Sugar.
So even though the honey is raw filtered, there's still 26 grams of sugar.
Mhm.
So yes, that you should, the naturally occurring sugar is better than like added sugar, but either way, like tropical fruits, no bueno.
And you have to be
Not
careful
good.
too in the yogurts too, because I was reading the
Yes.
yogurts. I
Yeah.
mean, I get the Greek ones, but the other yogurts, they have a high level of sugar.
tons,
I was
yeah.
reading it and I was so surprised. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so that's why I went to the Greek yogurt.
Yeah, and I think between my diet, like I'm like at my best shape I've ever been in my entire life. I've never been, a big girl, whatever you want to call it. But just by changing my diet, like I just started working out 2 months ago. I never worked out a day in my life. I just started, but because
I was watching you trying to do the push up there.
yeah, because of my
It
diet.
was so funny.
I know. I don't come from like a big workout background, but
I work out 4 times a week, and menopause is so hard. I was just talking to the doctor about this. Work out 4 times a week, and I'm like cutting on things. Of course, I went on a cruise, and my diet went out the window, and I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
But I don't bounce back like I used to. It used to take me like maybe a week, 2 weeks, and I was back to my pre-vacation
Welcome
weight.
to getting older.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I had to tell
I
you.
see food and I gain weight. It's so hard, and I eat very clean. I allow myself like sugar-free cookies. Like I allow myself like fruits. I try to incorporate fruits instead. We were talking about the low fat, the what was it? The Cool Whip that we were talking about.
True. The vegan.
One.
Yeah.
see, but that's the thing. Okay, so I'm not a nutritionist, but the things that you guys are saying, you shouldn't even be eating that stuff. Even though it's sugar free, it's still toxic. And we'll talk about this off camera.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guide. No, I'm
No,
really
talk about it on camera.
like
That's
I'm
okay.
really really good at this. I bring my friends to Whole Foods. I bring my parents, like because I've done so much damn research. Like I cried more after I was diagnosed with cancer by reading a nutritional book that I had to change everything. I cried more than I was diagnosed. So I'm Italian. We love our food. We love our meatballs, macaroni. You know what I mean? So for me to change my whole entire lifestyle, like was really hard. But now it's like so much fun. Like I spend 2 hours in Whole Foods just reading labels, teaching myself, looking up stuff. There's an app you can download. I don't know if you heard of it, Yuka or Bobby Approved. Have you ever heard of these apps?
Bobby Approved I have, but
Okay.
I want you to share the other apps with me post.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
And share them with your viewers as well. If you can put them in the bottom.
Yes, I do videos on TikTok about the things that I eat. Actually, if you add me on Instagram, you're gonna see like all my meals that I make. I have like my own little like highlights of all that.
Make sure you post some recipes so people can see what you're doing.
They're on my Instagram.
Oh,
do you see? If you look at my story, like I made protein pancakes yesterday.
Okay.
So instead of buying the boxed pancakes, there's a list of ingredients like this on the box, right?
Yeah.
So many ingredients. There's cottage cheese, rolled oats.
I love cottage cheese.
Organic rolled oats. I put blueberries in there, protein powder, clean protein powder, 1 egg. Made pancakes, and then I put raspberry. I put walnuts on it and a little bit of honey.
I love walnuts.
Yeah. So I'll add you on Instagram. You'll see every day I post what I'm eating.
Will take a look at those recipes.
I was the same way as you. I was like, well, if I get the sugar-free Cool Whip or this, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to, unless you're making it yourself, or the ingredients only list like milk, sugar, milk,
That's how my
water,
Anna
and
was. She would make everything from scratch. God bless her.
Well, I eat my vegan. Sorry,
your what?
my vegan. My vegan.
Well, the thing is, vegan food is also really toxic if you get the wrong ones.
No, yeah, but I looked and there's no sugar in it. There wasn't any sugar.
Well, when you talk about like sugar though, but talk about the ingredients too.
The ingredients that are in there.
The vegan. So I'm not vegan, but I eat paleo,
vegan.
keto, vegan. I eat it all. I kind of incorporate it all. But even if you just look at like, if you go to the vegan section of cheese, oh, you think it's vegan, it's healthy. No, the vegan cheese has a list of ingredients like this. The regular cheese is just cheese, salt, sugar. You know what I mean? So there's so much. We'll talk about.
They charge you so much for the vegan. And
well, even organic is expensive
oh gosh,
too.
yeah.
That was one thing my nutritionist said. She was like, with avocados, you're fine with getting the regular. Like she would kind of mention which ones were okay, and bananas. And she goes, and but when it comes to the berries, get organic because those are considered the dirty dozen. And you really, then
That's
you
something
still
I
need
didn't
to
know. I'm glad
wash
you told me
them.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, well, when we get off, I'll tell you
Do I
guys.
still
mean,
need to use my distilled and my strawberries organically?
um,
Oh my God,
I
it's
still clean.
I'm
I would still clean
traumatized.
them when I was going through
Yeah.
chemo. I was buying that and that I would still clean
I'm
them.
still
I still clean them.
traumatized. I
have a
saw that
cleaner
and they
that I
showed the
bought.
picture. They
I
should
have a
never
cleaner
show
I
that.
bought at Trader Joe's that's excellent. I can't find it anymore at Publix. Used
See,
to
I'm
be-
easily scared. You show me something, forget
you're
it.
gonna be scared after when I open Pilar's cabinet and take down one of her cracker boxes that she thinks is good. But this is same thing happened to me. So I have a lot of.
Can you eat oatmeal?
It has to be
Organic?
organic. Yeah. I'll tell you why. There's it's called glue something. I have to look it up.
Okay.
But that is contained in regular oats, and that causes it's carcinogenic, so it can cause cancer too. So it has to be
We
organic.
were just, we had a friend that went out country and she came back and she lost weight. And she says that's because the food over there, they don't
Ozempic.
have, oh, that's
Just
so
kidding.
bad.
Me.
Oh my God, don't get me
No.
started on that drug.
Yeah.
But no, she came back and lost weight. She said, Cindy, because they don't put chemicals and stuff in
Yeah.
the food over there.
It's illegal. So I have a lot of friends who are
Why
Hispanic.
can't they do that
Latinas.
here?
Well, it's so the problem with our industry, our government here is that the FDA, they allow like toxic ingredients for humans in the US to consume. So the things that we have that are allowed in like foreign countries, especially like the Latin countries, it's illegal. You can't even purchase it there. For instance, Steph, who's my podcast partner on Talk Breasty to Me. Hey, Steph. She went to Africa and she said the same thing. She ate anything she wanted, but she felt amazing. She didn't have any constipation, no gas, no bloating. She just felt so
It's
good.
amazing.
And she comes home and then, things are different. And then my Latina friends, my Hispanic friends, like they said the same thing. In their countries, they only eat what the earth provides, basically. Like you go to farmers markets and all your food is cooked or is made or like grown right there.
Yeah, just like in Italy.
So there's a show on Netflix that my dad just watched and told me about. I don't know if you guys saw it. It goes into the Mediterranean countries, Italy, Greece. Why are these people living till 115 years old? Why? What are they doing?
Wow.
They are like, I in my opinion, I call it like the caveman diet. I only try to eat what the earth provides me. So if I want, like, let's say like popcorn, right? Like
I love popcorn.
I love popcorn, right? But a lot of popcorns have toxic ingredients. So I get the one that if you look at it, organic, but sometimes just because it says organic doesn't mean it's good for you. Right. There are organic things. You go to Whole Foods, half of Whole Foods you can't eat.
So what kind of popcorn do you eat?
So you want?
Because I love popcorn.
I know. That's my weakness. She's gonna look at my cabinet.
No. But listen, you were me. I didn't know. I took
my cabinet is like F.
No. I took that app and I scanned all my food and I learned the app Bobby Approved will highlight which ingredients are bad. So when you go to the store, you're going to recognize it. And now I don't have to use the app. I know it.
Tell me about the popcorn.
Okay. Yes. So when you're looking for popcorn, you want the only ingredients to be popcorn, salt, and extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil.
Okay. If I go in Publix, what kind should I get?
So if you want the ones that are pre-made, there's one called Lesser Evil, Himalayan salt Lesser Evil. It's the pink.
No, I like it freshly popped.
That one's good.
Okay, good. Okay, you can keep that in your closet.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I can keep.
Yeah. So the trick is to look for the least amount of ingredients, and if you can pronounce them. If you see ingredients that you cannot pronounce, like monoside, citric,
maybe I should
glucose,
just get it in Whole Foods. Whole Foods has organic popcorn.
They do, but remember, not all organic is going to be.
What kind? What kind do you get?
The one I just said. I'll show you.
Okay,
yeah, we'll show you. Yeah.
No, I am addicted to popcorn. I love because every Saturday night, my husband and I we watch Netflix movie and popcorn. In fact, I have my own bag.
Well, we'll make sure that
please.
No extra butter, Cindy.
No, I don't like butter. No, I don't.
She's
yeah,
really good about that.
Yeah,
and
I'm good about
another
that.
thing, we went to Greece, and I will say I loved the food in Greece and Italy. It was on the cruise that actually the food on the cruise is what that I find has like
back
a
to the
lot
cruise.
Back to the cruise. It had a lot of stuff, but when we would go outside and we would eat in Corfu, when we were in Venice or just around, I found the food to be fresh, the cheese to be fresh. It was like the fruits, everything, the wine. It tasted different. So I know what you're talking about. And that was something that I was mentioning to my husband. I think we want to go to a more Mediterranean type of diet. Is that, would you consider that to be good? Like I have feta, I'll show you.
I
post
love
a
feta.
podcast.
Don't tell me I can't have feta.
Okay. Okay. So
Sorry, ladies
we're
and
having
gentlemen.
such a great time.
Yes. I would
Is
say
there like any feta cheese or cheeses?
Yeah,
We're
don't
talking
tell me I
about the
can't have
popcorn.
feta.
I love my feta.
Or
so
goat cheese. What about goat cheese?
there's some brands. So like for instance, I don't really eat butter, but there's a brand called Kerrygold Irish, and it's grass fed. So that butter's coming from
Okay.
cows and all
Mhm.
that are like
The grass fed.
everything is grass fed.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't eat like a lot of dairy. I try to stay away from it too much, but I do drink like almond milk and stuff
I was
like
just
that.
going to tell you, I get my chai tea latte with almond milk, and don't tell me I can't have that.
I love almond milk.
It
'Cause
just
I have to
depends
have
because
that.
there's a ton of almond milks that are very toxic. The almond milk that I take is called Malk almond milk, and there's 3 ingredients:
Oh, but I get mine
almonds,
at
water, and salt, and that's it. The one next to it, which is that like the one that everyone drinks, the other one that's like the blue box, that one has like 100 ingredients in
Well,
it.
I go to Starbucks.
Starbucks is nope. Gotta go. Gotta make your own chai.
Well, that was the thing the nutritionist told me. She's like, you really should think about, like, we do make our own coffees here at the house, but now that you're telling me this, it's gonna make me go and look at the ingredients of the almond milk.
Do you have a recipe for the chai
Yeah,
tea
and
latte?
that's what I want.
with almond milk?
I would say when you're having tea, do not use like tea bags because you don't know what kind of toxic ingredients are in the bag of the tea. So use powders or leaves. So I drink soursop tea, but
Okay.
instead of getting it in the little like what do they call it, like a little bag, like
And I do the
tea bag,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna start that. I'm gonna incorporate what you're saying.
yeah, I got a little teapot and it has like a little like hole in
The
it. And then
strainer, the strainer.
and I put the
Yeah, I
tea
have one of
leaves.
those too.
My matcha tea, I don't get the in bags or green tea. It's all in powder.
My daughter does that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
My daughter, she
they
needs
have
to,
it
you
in-
need to talk to
yeah.
my daughter, Audrey, because she is like a natural with all of this, and we have been really going in and looking at things lately and the ingredients. She would love everything that you're sharing. She would be nodding over there in that corner. You see, mom? You see, mom? You see?
See, that's the
The
thing.
sugar-free is not good for you. That Smart Balance that you buy, that's not good butter. It's not good for you, mommy. It has all these ingredients.
I can't believe it's not butter.
She's not wrong, and that's the thing. Same thing with my mom. Hey, mom, my parents when I was diagnosed with cancer, I would be like, you can't eat that, and like I judge people, but I bite my tongue because no, my grandfather is 94 years old and he eats and drinks. I was just spent the week with him,
butter,
Yeah.
real sugar, real
Everything,
this,
yeah.
everything.
and he's fine. Like not like knock on wood, but like
That's not wood.
I think it's marble. But I think what you're saying too, what you were talking, because you were asking about sugar,
Yeah.
and it's. I think what's really bad for you is the refined.
I have
sugar.
brown. I
Like
have brown.
you
I have
buy
brown
the-
sugar.
Mm.
The organic brown.
The brown.
But it says organic brown.
Doesn't
What
matter.
is that brand? The brown sugar.
I don't use any
You don't
sugar.
use any sugar, not
Nope.
even the brown.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
When
Well,
I bake,
on
I
a
use,
serious
like,
note, no.
natural,
Listen,
like-
Frau viewers, really, everybody's individual.
Yes,
Everyone.
yes.
Everybody's really
yeah.
individual. Talk to your doctor to find or
Nutritionist.
nutritionist.
Yeah,
Because I use brown sugar, and I'm not going to stop using brown sugar. Everybody's different.
that's fine.
You
Yeah,
know,
everyone's different,
everybody's
yeah.
totally different. I don't use a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like if I have, for example, cappuccino.
Yeah.
Okay, if I have a cappuccino, I put like one little thing of
Right.
brown sugar. It's not a lot, but again, everybody's different.
It works for
and
you. You're
there are a lot
24
of
years
people
out.
that I talk to, like me and you and Pilar. They'll say that's a lot of baloney. I eat what I want to eat. I know. I respect that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Yep, that's
cool.
fine.
Yeah,
But you know,
that's the thing. I will if I was to come here for dinner, I wouldn't look at you and be like, oh, she's like. I went to dinner last night. I went to a Mexican restaurant and I had
what
I
did you
had,
eat?
Shrimp. So
I'm
I got
allergic.
shrimp. Yeah, I got shrimp and then I didn't like it, so I asked for butter on the side to dip it in with garlic because
You need a
so
flavor.
you got to pick and choose your battles. Like I'm not going to go home and dip my shrimp in butter, but I'm out to dinner. If you like Carolyn from the Link of Hope sisters,
Oh, she's amazing.
she told
that's
me
how we met.
yeah, she told me if you can't remember the last time that you had it, just have it.
exactly.
So I
That's
can't
my
remember
girl.
the last time. It's amazing.
That's
So
Carolyn.
but with the sugar, I mean, to each their own. Remember, like for you growing up, your food was different. Our food now, my generation, our food is so different. Our chickens back in the day, I'm not saying you're old, but like, 20,
She's
30,
not saying I'm old.
20, 30 years ago, the chickens were normal size, right? You're getting little chickens. Now, my generation, our chickens are big because they're being pumped with hormones and
Not the
and
organic. Not
antibiotics.
the organic.
The organic's okay.
Yeah.
The organic is, yes. You can notice the difference between the little chickens. So that's the thing. Like
God.
my grandparents, they all lived to be in their 90s and 80s, and God bless them. But their generation, they didn't really have much cancer. Why?
No, they didn't.
Because their food was more natural. They didn't pump it. It wasn't injected. Now these days, the big pharmaceutical companies and the food industry, they want to make more money. How do you make more money? Give them bigger chickens. Give them bigger shrimp. You know what I mean?
That's terrible. It's really, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but hopefully better. Hopefully it'll be better.
And now that we're talking about shrimp, something that I learned as well, you need to get wild caught shrimp. Not farm raised shrimp. Farm raised shrimp.
The same thing like salmon.
Salmon. The farm raised are in someone's backyard in China in big little pools, blow up pools. If they get sick, they throw the antibiotics in it.
Gosh.
Right? Wild caught shrimp, wild caught salmon, wild caught fish, tuna, wild caught tuna. That's
traumatized.
Actually being caught from the ocean. Yeah. Bet you didn't know that.
Nope, I didn't.
Here's another one. Bet you didn't know this. Do you like turkey meat?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Turkey meat's great, right? So when you go to buy it, you're going to see two different types of turkey meat. Turkey meat or turkey breast meat. Which one do you get? Usually the cheaper one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. If you get turkey meat is the chicken or the turkey from head to toe, the beak, the feet, the butt,
that's true.
All of that. If you just get the turkey breast, you're just getting the breast. And it also all your meat has to be organic too.
Right.
I bet you didn't know that because I didn't know that either. I'm like, oh, the organic. I went to Whole Foods yesterday. The organic one was only $6.99 for turkey meat, and then the turkey breast was like $12.99. And I'm like, I need the organic.
That's what I'm saying. That
breast,
the organic shouldn't be that. God forbid we eat healthy here. You know what I'm saying?
$200 a week for just meat, and I'm by myself. And that's how much it costs just to eat. And the minimum, I don't get like little snacks because I'm trying to,
well, you'll be working the rest of your life.
Well, that's kidding. The thing. My dad texted me the other day. He's like, let me know if you need any money for your holistic food. He calls it my holistic food. But he knows too. I was at his house the other day and they know because he had pretzels. And I was like, man, I'm craving a pretzel. And I was like, you know what? You can't have a pretzel.
You can't have a pretzel.
I haven't had a pretzel in so long. I started eating. He goes, wait, stop. You can't have that. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that's not. No, but he's learning. He never knew that. Yeah. But because of he's watching these shows, I'm teaching him. I'm sitting here teaching him what I can and can't have. Now they're learning and they want to help, a reoccurrence because, we laugh about it now, right? But I was diagnosed at 33. I have like 70 more years to worry about this. If I was 80 years old and I was, diagnosed, okay, I only have, 10, 15 years left, but I have 70 years to be worried.
Nobody knows how long, but
This is the thing. Like, we don't know what, like you were just going to say, we don't know what brings it on. We don't know if it's a chemical because mine was triple negative.
My mom was triple negative.
We don't know what caused it. We don't know if it wasn't a hormone. And I kept asking the doctors, and she was like, "You can't."
I was taking estrogen, and when I had my genetic testing done by Dr. Carmen Calfa, who is the most amazing breast oncologist at UM, she did 83 genetic testing. Of course, eventually now there's going to be more coming up, but they were all negative. And my mom, of course, being on DES, but I also was taking hormone. I was taking Premarin for 12 years.
Because you were trying to get pregnant?
No, Premarin. It's an estrogen because I had a hysterectomy and I didn't have any ovaries, which was a plus when I got my breast cancer. So that's how they knew that the estrogen I was taking. Immediately the doctor called me and said, I want you to stop taking your Premarin.
Yeah.
Now that we diagnosed you.
Well, when I was diagnosed, my doctor had me take my get off birth control immediately, like cold turkey, not like wean. Stop right now. Right. So I know that there's a correlation. There has to be some kind of correlation. They said that they don't really know, but why would my gynecologist tell me immediately stop?
Yeah.
Before I had my daughters, I was on birth control for 8 years. Mm-hmm. When I was young, up until because it used to help me with my menstruation. But
for cramps, they gave it a lot to young for cramps. Yeah.
And then I
did it really help you? Did it help your cramps?
It did.
Yeah. They didn't put me on that, and I had bad cramps.
Birth control is great.
Yeah. It was great.
You get like a 3-day period.
Yes.
And no, like little belly aches, but like no like big cramps. Your period was very.
They never offered that to me. I'm surprised.
I
My
feel like
parents would have said
it
no
was
anyway.
kind of new. Like it was just like kind of,
Are you
yeah.
saying I'm old again?
No, I'm not saying you're old, but like your situation, like I mean,
And I was
art
taking a lighter form too.
low. I was taking low estrogen. Low estrogen.
Yeah, mine was a light form. It
And that's
didn't give
another
me any
thing,
side
yeah.
effects. It helped with my cramps. It
Yeah.
helped with the headaches I would get before the cramps, and it was like 3 day cycle. It was beautiful.
Boobs got big.
Yeah, it was nice. My face cleared out. It
Yeah,
was
right.
awesome.
Yeah, it
Oh
was good.
God.
But I want to ask you guys both a question. It's kind of like a kind of sad question, but I've always like I keep thinking about this a lot, and then I want to get into your story too. Being that you guys are so far out from your diagnosis and being in the breast cancer community for 24 years, 7, 8 years, how do you guys deal with death? Because I know that a lot of your friends, you're so close in the communities, like what do you do? Because I'm finding it really difficult. Like I went to the hospital and I was crying because there was a guy next to me like saying like this is my last day here. I'm gonna die tonight, basically. And just like and he wasn't my friend and I was crying hysterical. Just preparing yourself for knowing that somebody around you is gonna be pass
I
away.
I was young when I was introduced to death. Okay, I remember losing my grandmother, and I was young, and I remember losing a close friend in high school. He committed suicide. I was like, oh, why? He was always so happy. So for me, for death, I'm not going to say it comes natural to deal with it because you always still feel bad,
Right.
but I can cope with it a lot better because I was introduced to death younger. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So for somebody that it hasn't been, it's a shock. I have a friend of mine who her daughter lost her boyfriend. She's still traumatized over it. And he drowned in a pool. And the guilt she must have from that. So again, that is someone who she loved. And that was probably her first love. And it would have been her only love because I heard, they probably would have gotten married. But again, because I was introduced to it earlier, I can deal with it better. I'm not saying I don't feel bad and I don't hurt and I don't cry. I do, but I know that that's part of life. And my husband always reminds me of certain things too. When certain things happen, like a death of a job, I lost my job. A lot of people lost their jobs during COVID. So it's something that he says, you know what? This is going to pass. You're going to deal with it. And it's meant to be, and something else is going to happen. You're meant to maybe change to do something. And I'm also almost in the process of that now, believe it or not. And I'm going to have to deal with it. I'm going to have to look. And of course, sometimes it's hard to find another job, especially today. A lot of people, there's a hire freeze. With COVID, there was a hire freeze. But back to the death question is because I was introduced to it so early, I could really deal with it and cope with it better. Now, for Pilar, it might be in a different situation. I don't know.
I mean, I think going through this, you have more compassion, right? When I hear of any, like Pat just shared something in like a hope of sisters, um, that someone passed away and she forewent doing the chemo. No judgment. Everyone is different. My stepsister, who I love dearly, chose not to do chemo, and she passed away a few years before me from different cancer. And so for me, that was hard. Dealing with that was hard. That was like my child. We were stepsisters, but we were raised like sisters, so that was rough. And then anytime one of the sisters is sick or passes away, or I read like even a celebrity, that was like Olivia Newton-John, that hit me hard because she was a survivor for so many years,
Yes.
and then she passed away. And she really brought awareness and gave so much to the community. And so I think of that. It's hard, and I kind of take it internally too. My daughter says I'm emotional, but I think I've been pretty good today. I've been crying. She's like, "You cry at the drop of a hat. You cry. You see a movie. Oh my god, you're like crying, mom." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I know that humor to this, but um, I do. It's rough. It makes me look at my life again and just living my life to the fullest, enjoying every day, making sure like like even with any family members, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but if you're going through anything with a friend or a family member, like just make amends. I really learned not to hold grudges, right? And like you were just saying, like even with the diet or politics or this or that, life is too short to be fighting over something so trivial. We got to
Because
love
in the end, it's all going to work out anyway. So,
it's
yeah.
gonna work out, so it really helps to put things into perspective and just love my family, love my friends, and just enjoy every day, enjoy being with them. That's it. That's all we can do. That's how I get through it. But when someone does lose their life, it's hard.
Steve Jobs, when he passed away of pancreatic cancer, I was reading something that he had written about death and living. Don't that watch you're wearing, you don't have to have a Rolex watch to have it to look nice. It's still going to tell time.
Mm-hmm.
That watch is still going to tell the same time, whether it's a Rolex, a Bolivar, or a Michelle. It doesn't matter. So those kind of things, material things, and we're brought up with that.
Yes.
A lot of the kids are brought up with that now.
Depending where you live, yes.
Yes.
And even
And
now in social media, the pressure.
yeah, social media, and even going to school. A lot of these kids, some of these kids, they wear Gucci purses or whatever. 15 years old with a Gucci purse. Are you out of your mind? I mean, for real. But,
And
some of them, I
yeah.
will take that back though, because a friend of mine's daughter, she works for it. She babysits, she cleans the house, she gets her money.
Right.
And her mother says, if you want to spend your money, $1,000, and waste
More
it on
like
a bed,
2K.
it's your money. And she thought
Thank you.
about it. No, she
Yeah.
did. She thought about
Yeah.
it at one point. You're right, Mom. It's just a bag.
Mhm.
And there goes my $1,000 that I
Yes.
worked hard for. So that's a good thing to do. I would think if I had a daughter, that's another thing. I know I don't have any children, and I really feel horrible about that.
I'm your daughter.
She's my daughter. I adopt everybody. I
Aw.
adopt everybody.
My mom
Yep,
is
it's
out
true,
away.
but it's true. It's true. But I unfortunately I couldn't have, and I feel really bad about that. And I sometimes I lay at night too. I'm older, and I think about I don't have any kids. And who's going to take care of me? And my friend goes, "You're going to take care of me, okay?
will.
Thank you.
will.
Make sure I'm in a good nursing home,
Just make sure
please.
you give me that Gucci bag.
You know what
I do.
and one thing that I was talking, I've gone through a career change. We were talking about this, and I'm doing my own consulting right now. So I'm proud of that and
Yes,
starting
you
a new
should be.
chapter in my life.
There's a reason for everything.
Yes. And you were talking about the job thing, not to bring it up. And it was like a bad divorce.
It
in
is.
that perspective. But I'm looking forward and moving forward. And one of the things I've noticed in social media, I don't know if it's helped or not, and it kind of went out the window a little bit with the whole cancer, is that I remember before the cancer, I would try to be so perfect and the pleaser, constantly trying to please everyone, make everyone happy. I wore myself so ragged and so thin. Like I was always trying to please this person, that person. Don't say this, you're going to offend that person. Do this, do that. My kids had to be perfect. My marriage had to be everything, everything. It was like, because when we look at, and my friend and I were talking about this in our workshop, when you look at a beautiful picture that's shared around the holidays, the Christmas card or the Instagram or the TikTok, the cute video, you see the perfect product. But what you don't see 5 minutes before that picture was snapped is the mom arguing with the husband, the kids, the dog barking, the house is a mess, but everything is perfect and everything is pristine in that moment, in that picture, and that is the image that we send to the universe, right? So we all think that they're perfect and that's how we have to be, but we're not. And so I've learned to accept that I'm not perfect. There's probably 5-10 pounds that I'm not happy with, but you know what? I'm alive. I laugh. I'm not going to let it stop me from living. And I'm going to enjoy every day that I have on this planet. I have a new wrinkle. I have a new gray hair.
Oh, let's not talk about wrinkles, please.
But I'm going to live my life to the fullest and enjoy everything. And I'm never going to be perfect. And I've come to terms with that. And you know what? It's called being human. It's called living. And I think we also have to give ourselves a little bit of grace too. And that, I think that's also helped a little bit with my levels is accepting ourselves. and then just trying to be the best that we can and living the best that we can while we're here. But if I have those sugar-free cookies, I'm eating them up tonight.
Yeah, don't throw them out. Finish eating them and then start.
The dark chocolate Hershey's.
Well, dark chocolate cacao is not bad for you. Okay, let's talk about that.
In many cases, you are absolutely correct. Cacao, dark chocolate, but you have to make sure. So, like the dark chocolate that I eat, I'll show you guys. They are dated, sweetened. So the chocolate is actually sweetened by dates, the fruit. So there's no like sugar or anything.
It has dates in it.
It has dates in it. So, and it tastes just like dark chocolate. It's $10 for a little bag of it, but it's really good.
But it's yummy.
Like yesterday, I made instead of buying oatmeal cookies, I made my own. So I took oats, I took peanut butter, I took these date chocolates, and I put some walnuts and protein powder. Mixed it all together.
What kind of peanut butter did you use?
I do organic, unsweetened or whatever. Yep. And then I mixed it, put them in little balls, put it in the fridge, and there's my cookies right there.
Oh my god,
it's so easy. But like
to get that recipe,
all the I always post it on Instagram. Always. I think I'm gonna create a new Instagram called Crystal's Kitchen because right? Yes. Like I was thinking about it yesterday because everybody's messaging me like, can you tell me where you got this? Can you tell me where you got that? What is this? What is this? So lately I've been writing recipe. Like I'm not writing recipes. I'm just showing the videos of me cooking it, and then at the end I'll do all the ingredients
and also where they can buy it because that's helpful too.
Yep. I get most of my stuff at Whole Foods, like regular stores. So.
Not to change this up. How about Trader Joe's? Are there things at Trader Joe's that
I'm afraid I'm not a Trader Joe fan, but that's me. I stick to Whole Foods or Fresh Market.
Yeah. Trader Joe's, there are some things that you can. Yeah, there's a lot of organic fruits and stuff like that. I stay away from a lot of like the frozen foods, those meals, the sesame chickens and all that.
It's a lot of sodium. Yeah.
It's but the produce section's not bad as long as it's obviously organic. But it's dangerous because Trader Joe's is so good. All their little like dips, their fajita, buffalo dips, like they're so good, but they're so bad. Okay. But we're gonna make it fun. When we're done, I'm gonna sit down and talk to you because I promise you, I'm a foodie.
We can go to maybe I'm gonna propose this.
And we can videotape it.
We could do a field trip and we go to Whole Foods and you can tell us about Crystal's Kitchen and some of the recipes, and maybe we can make something together.
Yeah, we can 100%.
That sounds fun.
That sounds like a fun
Yep.
What do you guys think? They'll love it. They'll wait for it.
No, and that's the thing. Like once you guys start doing it, it's so easy, and your kids are gonna be like, Mom,
my husband won't like it. I will tell you that because he is a bad eater, but he's gonna have to eat. Well, he won't know what I put in it.
We can.
He will.
Yeah. Here, we can do it here, or we can go to your place.
Whatever.
Or we can go to Cindy's.
But I can tell you though, the old folk. My dad, I bought like organic grass-fed like filet mignon. Oh, what is this shit? Then my mom, I got organic chicken.
No,
she's like, this is nasty. What is it? They both, my mom and dad both.
Really?
Yep, they could tell because they're used to the antibiotic, the Perdue's, all that out there.
You know what really took me back? One of the girls at work, oh my God, she ate Spam.
I used to eat it in.
Oh my God.
I like it fried.
Yes, you would fry it up.
I used to eat it.
Oh my God.
That's one thing I don't eat. Also processed meat. I haven't had a cold cut in a year and a half.
No.
Sausage.
You used to eat it?
Yeah. But I would get like the low sodium, the Applegate, the ones that, but honestly.
Yeah, the Applegate. I remember I was buying that for a while and I don't know, even with that product, I didn't like it.
Listen, if your kids need a sandwich, choose the Applegate over the Boar's Head, right? There's the lesser of two evils all the time.
Who's Applegate? Is that the name of a company? Because I don't eat.
Yeah, it's an Applegate. It's like a lot of like it's like more of like organic. So it's like turkey meat. It's
doing that for a while.
Yeah, and if your kids absolutely need sandwiches, get the Applegate. But the end of the day, it's all processed meat. It's not coming off of the they're taking it out of the turkey and then they're putting it. They're doing something to it.
Right. Yeah.
I
could taste
look at Thanksgiving's coming up pretty soon. People will be buying a lot of turkeys.
I know, maybe we can do something before Thanksgiving, and we can maybe create some.
Yeah.
We can create some little meals.
Yeah, we can.
Oh my God.
We can, and we can be creative. You guys can look up stuff. I mean, there's so many things. So I know we've been on here for a while. Before we go, we didn't even get to your story. So can you like give us a little recap of like how you found out you had cancer?
Okay, on recap, I worked at Sylvester Cancer Center for 27 years, and I had my mammograms faithfully every year. And this one time, I had a mammogram that showed calcification that looked spiculated. So that word spiculated, I knew I had cancer because I worked for, a surgical oncologist, and I dealt with a lot of breast cancer patients. So to fast forward, I had a double mastectomy, and I took the drug called tamoxifen. I had taken it for 4.5 years. I was supposed to take it for 5, but actually, my tumor was a multifocal invasive. It was 1.5 by 0.7 by zero point 0.5. So it had two baby ones behind it. And they found that when they did the stereotactic. So I took the tamoxifen, and I had no breast for 5 years, as I mentioned. And then in 2006 was the birth of my first book called The Empty Cup Runneth Over, which was for high school and college kids. And the second book was Miami Breast Cancer Experts, which we had doctors in the book that contributed chapters on chemo, radiation. And then the third book, Experts in Pink, it's a 400-page book that has everything that you can think of, from nutrition to music therapy to radiation therapy to chemotherapy. There's even an attorney that did a chapter on how to prepare your life, what to do if you are terminal with breast cancer or any cancer, because there's a lot of things people don't know. You have to get your things in matter, but you want to do it earlier, ahead of time. And then this fourth book coming up, which I'm very proud of, is going to be with Miami Cancer Institute. Dr. Star Martiner is contributing a chapter, who is amazing.
My oncology surgeon.
Yep, she's amazing. And Dr. John Diaz on gynecological oncological cancers. So he also talks about robotic surgeries. Also, he's another amazing physician. He is going to be given an award at the Pink Luminous Advocacy dinner that is October 11th at the Mayfair in Coconut Grove. If you want more information on that, please go to Pink Luminous Advocacy Project, and you'll see the link there to get your ticket. We have Dr. Medina, who is going to talk about reconstruction. My story navigates through it because my story is always in all the books. And it's just an amazing book. We're hoping for it to come out this December of 2024. And when we do it, we're going to advertise it a lot. And also, we'll hopefully get a medical panel together and do an event, either maybe at Books and Books, which is our local bookstore here, or even maybe at MCI. We're not sure yet where that will take place, but we will announce it. Yeah, we'll announce it. And my fifth book, I'm hoping it will be with Sylvester Cancer Center, and that's, in the talking stages right now.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
See, you're my
Thank you.
inspiration because I want to write a book or 10.
Yes, and we'll talk. We're going to make sure you get that done,
Yes.
and put some recipes in the book of
Yes.
your
Yes.
Crystal's Kitchen.
Crystal's Kitchen.
That's right.
See,
That's
already
right.
memorized it.
Yeah.
It's a cool name. It's a great name. I like Crystal's
And it's
Kitchen.
so down to earth.
Yep.
And, catchy. So
Yep.
you know, I remember.
That's going to be
Thanks,
good.
guys.
That's going to be. We'll talk more about that, and when that does come out, that's going to be
Yes.
good.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you guys so much. Like, I had so much
Thank
fun.
you for
I want to
having
keep
us.
talking. I know we have lives. It's Sunday. Everyone's got to get back to their families.
I love
but-
all your shows. It's natural. Nothing is set up. We didn't even rehearse this at all.
Oh, no.
Nothing is rehearsed at all.
Yeah.
I'm surprised none of us blubbed up yet. But to me, another thing, humor is so important.
Yes.
It really is.
Dark humor.
You have to have humor to get by. Who was it? Gilda Radner, Rosanna Dana.
Yes.
She was amazing.
She was my inspiration.
Rosanna Dana.
She really got me through it, and you have to laugh. Like, I love all the SNL skits. I love dark comedy. I love anything that
She
makes
was
you laugh.
amazing. God bless her, rest her soul. But she was funny. I mean, you couldn't watch her show without laughing. And if you were in a bad mood, you'd be in a good mood.
Yes.
Do you know who we're talking about?
No.
Because
You
she's so
have
young.
to.
I'll look her up.
Yes, she was
Rosanna
a comedian,
Dana.
one of the original comedians on Saturday Night Live, and she had breast cancer, and unfortunately,
No, she had ovarian. I thought it was ovarian.
ovarian. I thought
Yeah,
it was breast
ovarian.
cancer. Okay.
Ovarian.
Well, she
Sorry,
was,
Rosanna Dana.
sorry, but she founded.
She had cancer.
And
Yeah,
she
she had
founded. She
cancer.
started a foundation, and they also had something at the Cleveland Clinic, and they have a lot of groups that get together.
Gilda Radner.
Yes, and they get together and they talk and they have support, because it's not just the person that's going through the cancer; it's also the caregivers too, and the family that go through it. And
Yeah, we have a chapter in there too for caregivers, which is another important that they're sometimes overlooked. We at one time or another, we're all a caregiver, so it's really important. And for us, it would be good. Well, we're more related to it because we have breast cancers, so we know what it's like to be a caregiver. But if you're not, caregivers are amazing because the pressure that they have to go through and watch a loved one suffer, or even a friend, it becomes really emotional.
yes.
But thank you.
Thank you
so
guys.
much.
I'm excited.
Really, yes.
Again, 305 Pink Pack, they're having an event to raise money for women going through cancer,
The
all
date?
different types
What's
of
the date?
cancer.
September?
Sunday, September 15th.
Yes.
And we'll have all the information. I'm going to make a video for the 305 Pink Pack. Everybody come. It's going to be so
Yes.
much fun.
Mhm.
All different kinds of little events. We have little dance parties in there, crafts, DJ, food, raffles.
They're going to have face painting for the kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, it's family friendly. It's on a Sunday. And we're going to go.
Yeah, we'll all be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. So love you guys.
And then also the Pink Luminous Advocacy Project,
Yes.
October 11. Tickets are, if you go to the Pink Luminous Advocacy Project, you'll find the link there. Tickets are on sale now, and they are going fast. We are going to have it at the Mayfair in Coconut Grove.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.